There is a voice inside you, a knowing, a force that whispers in the stillness, revealing truths that logic cannot explain. But you've been trained to ignore it. Since childhood, you were told to trust the evidence, trust the experts, trust the rules. You were taught that certainty is power, that anything unseen is unreal. And so, piece by piece, you silenced the voice within. You heard it before, didn't you? A gut feeling before a decision, a sudden knowing before an event, a thought so clear it felt like it wasn't your own. But instead of listening, you dismissed it. You told yourself it was coincidence. You forced yourself to be reasonable. You ignored that small, persistent whisper, until eventually, it faded into the background. But what if I told you that voice was never just your imagination? Carl Jung believed that intuition is the language of the unconscious. It is the voice of a part of you that knows more than your rational mind ever could. It sees beyond the present moment, beyond logic, beyond the illusions of the external world. And it is waiting for you to hear it again. Because the truth is, your intuition has been speaking to you all along. But the question is, will you finally listen? If you want to unlock the secret power of your unconscious mind, stay with me in this journey, because in the next few minutes, I will show you what you have never imagined. I will show you the magic power of intuition. I will show you how to awaken the intuition you have forgotten. Before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe. Your mind is about to change forever. Have you ever felt something before it happened? A whisper in your mind, a pull in your gut, a sense of certainty with no logical explanation. You can't prove it, you can't explain it, but somehow, you just know. And yet when you try to share it, the world dismisses you. Be rational. That doesn't make sense. Where's the proof? But deep inside, you feel it. An unseen force guiding you, revealing truths beyond reason, beyond logic, beyond everything you've been taught. Carl Jung called this force intuition, and he believed that it is not just a feeling. It is a portal to the hidden dimensions of the unconscious. Intuition gives outlook and insight. It revels in the garden of magical possibilities. Jung saw intuition as the silent language of the psyche, the way your unconscious mind speaks to you, not with words, not with logic, but with images, symbols, and a deep, undeniable knowing. Unlike logical thinking, which moves step by step, breaking everything down into fragments, intuition leaps past the conscious mind, connecting you directly to truth. You don't arrive at it. It arrives in you, an insight appearing out of nowhere, a gut feeling you can't ignore, a moment where time stops, and you just know. This is why intuition is so misunderstood. It is not bound by rules, not bound by the past, not bound by proof. It exists beyond reason, beyond cause and effect, and that terrifies people. Because in a world that worships logic, intuition is a rebellion. But why does the world fear intuition? We are told to trust what we can see, what we can touch, what we can measure. But what about the things that can't be measured? What about the invisible forces that shape your life? The moment you hesitate before stepping into a room, sensing something is off. The instant you meet a person and feel their energy before they even speak. The dream that reveals a truth before you consciously understand it. These experiences don't fit into a rational framework, but they are real. Jung knew this. He understood that intuition is older than reason, more ancient than thought itself. It is a survival mechanism, a guide, a force that has existed within you since the beginning of time. But modern society has buried it. We have been trained to silence our intuition, to explain away our inner knowing, to seek answers outside of ourselves instead of within. And so, we live disconnected, cut off from the deeper reality that flows beneath the surface of life. But what happens when you awaken this lost power? What happens when you listen? Because the truth is, your intuition has never left you. It has been waiting for you to stop looking outside, waiting for you to turn inward, waiting for you to remember. And now, The question is, are you ready to hear what it has been trying to tell you? Because once you start listening, everything changes. Changes forever. But here's the truth Jung understood. Intuition does not compete for your attention. It does not shout. It does not demand. It waits. And in a world consumed by noise, distraction, and endless mental chatter, how do you hear something that speaks only in whispers? The answer is silence. Because your intuition is always speaking, but most people never hear it, because they never stop to listen. So now let me take you deeper, into the silence, into the space where your unconscious finally has room to speak. This next part may be uncomfortable. It may challenge everything you've been taught. But if you dare to enter it, you will begin to awaken something within you that has been asleep for far too long. Stay with me, and before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe, because what comes next might just change the way you see yourself forever. Right now, at this very moment, your intuition is speaking to you. It always has been. The question is, can you hear it? Or have you been too distracted, too caught up in the noise of the world, the expectations, the endless flood of thoughts that keep you disconnected from yourself? Carl Jung understood that to awaken intuition, you must first clear away the noise. You must step out of the thinking mind and into the feeling soul. You must return to the place where your inner voice has been waiting for you. And the first step? Silence, where intuition speaks. Have you ever noticed that your deepest realizations come when you are alone? Not when you're scrolling, not when you're chasing external distractions, but when you are simply being, driving in the dead of night, lost in thought, sitting by the ocean, hypnotized by the waves, staring at the ceiling in the stillness before sleep. These are the moments when the noise of the world fades, and something deeper emerges. Jung knew this was no coincidence. Solitude is for me a fount of healing, which makes my life worth living. Your intuition does not shout. It does not fight for your attention. It waits. It waits for the moments when you are still enough, quiet enough, present enough, to hear what it has been trying to tell you all along. But the modern world is terrified of silence. We live in an age of constant stimulation, notifications, conversations, endless entertainment. You are surrounded by noise, designed to keep you distracted. Because the moment you stop, the moment you disconnect from the external and reconnect with the internal, you begin to wake up. You begin to hear yourself again. And that is dangerous. Because when you hear yourself, when you awaken intuition, you can no longer be controlled by the outside world. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly sat in silence? No screens, no voices, no distractions, just you and the voice within. Because when you step into silence, another door opens, a door that leads to the hidden world of your unconscious. The second step, the door of dreams, where intuition speaks in symbols. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt more real than reality itself? A dream that left you with a feeling, a message, an answer, a warning, yet you didn't know what it meant. Jung believed that dreams are the purest language of intuition. They are messages from the unconscious, clues, warnings, signs of what is hidden beneath your awareness. But do you listen? Or do you wake up, brush it off, and move on? The dream is the small hidden door in the deepest and most intimate sanctum of the soul. If you want to strengthen your intuition, start recording your dreams. Write them down. Pay attention. Because there is a pattern, there is meaning, and that meaning is waiting to be uncovered. But here's the challenge. Intuition does not give explanations. It does not justify itself. It simply knows, and that is why the next part is so difficult. Learning to trust the unknown. We'll dive into that next. But before we continue, if this resonates with you, like and subscribe, because we are just getting started. The third step, trust what you cannot explain. This is the hardest part, Because intuition does not come with reasons. It does not come with proof. It does not beg for validation. It simply knows, and in a world obsessed with logic, with explanations, with neatly organized facts, it takes courage to trust something you cannot prove. But here's the truth Jung understood. We should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect. The judgment of the intellect is only part of the truth. Your intuition knows before you do. It senses what logic cannot yet see. It perceives truths that your mind struggles to accept. But because it does not explain itself, you doubt it. You feel uneasy around someone, but you tell yourself, I'm just overthinking. A career path calls to you, but you silence it with, that doesn't make sense. Your gut warns you about a choice, but you ignore it because I have no evidence. And so you betray yourself. And the more you do it, the quieter your intuition becomes, until one day, you can't hear it at all. Jung warned, if you betray your own knowing, you will live a life that is not your own. You will become lost, disoriented, disconnected from yourself. Because every time you silence your intuition, you are choosing to trust something outside of you over yourself. Through pride, we are ever deceiving ourselves. But deep down below the surface of the average conscience, a still small voice says to us, something is out of tune. That feeling? That deep, unshakable sense that something isn't right? That is your intuition, trying to save you from a path that does not belong to you, trying to pull you back to yourself. But if you ignore it long enough, it will stop speaking. And then, you will wake up one day, looking at your life, wondering, how did I get here? You will feel a hollowness inside, not knowing why. You will lose your connection to your own soul. This is the ultimate cost of ignoring your intuition, the loss of yourself. But you may ask, how can you strengthen your intuition in practice? Here are 5 simple exercises. 1. The 3-second rule. The next time you make a decision, pay attention to your first instinct before doubt or overthinking creeps in. 2. Dream journaling. When you wake up, write down the first thing you remember. Over time, you'll notice patterns, hidden messages from your unconscious. 3. Intuition walks. Take a walk without a destination. Let your gut guide your path. This reconnects you to instinct over logic. 4. Meditation on inner knowing. Spend 5 minutes daily sitting in silence, focusing on a question. Observe what emerges, without judgment, without forcing an answer. 5. Synchronicity awareness. Keep track of repeated symbols, numbers, or events in your life. Sometimes the universe speaks through patterns you might otherwise overlook. There comes a moment in every life, a single moment that changes everything. Not because of something external, not because of some grand event, but because of a shift inside you. A moment where you realize that the answers you have been chasing, the guidance you have been searching for, the clarity you have been begging for, has been within you all along. Jung knew that true transformation does not come from books, from teachers, from external knowledge. It comes from a deep inner realization, a moment when you finally trust yourself. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. This is where you stand now. At a threshold, a choice, a turning point in your existence. You can keep searching, keep looking outside yourself for answers, keep doubting what you already know. Or you can wake up. You can stop running. You can stop waiting. You can stop silencing the voice that has been trying to guide you all along. Because here's the truth. You have always known. You have always felt the pull, the whispers, the deep, undeniable knowing inside you. And now, you must decide. Are you ready to stop looking outside for answers that only exist within? Are you ready to listen to the voice that has been waiting for you? Are you ready to trust yourself again? If so, step into the silence. Feel what you already know. Let it rise to the surface. And trust it. Because when you do, your life will begin. And nothing will ever be the same again. If this awakened something in you, like, subscribe, and join me for more. Because this is only the beginning.